Well, good evening. Well, actually, late night, everyone. So, today I'm going to be talking about JayZ, who was born Shawn Corey Carter. I'm a little late with this video, but I must get it done like now. The reason I'm talking about JayZ because I was given his name a few months ago. And I did post a video I had about JayZ and Beyonce January of 2023. As I'm recording this message, it is Sunday, May 12th, 2024. So I just wrote the dream down and I recently made the video about it. Um, in the dream, he was accusing Beyonce of infidelity. And it was more like he had his finger pointing in her face. She was trying to defend herself, but she could not get a word out. So that was pretty much the dream. And when I woke up, I said, that was different. But then there was a part I left out because I didn't think it was important, but it ties in together. Now in the dream, there were like, oh, excuse me. The first part of the dream, it was butterflies, like black butterflies in the dream, and some black roses, and it was a bunch of them, and then they all died. So then I seen this picture when I was making this video. I made it for TikTok and I made it for YouTube. But when I went back and looked and seen this picture come up, we all familiar, well, most of us are familiar with the monarch, the MK Ultra. She had a butterfly over one eye. I said, oh, and it a light bulb went off. I said, okay, that was the point of me. Sorry, that's my dog. The point of me having seeing the butterflies in the dream. Now there is another prophecy, not mine, that a couple other women of God have said that are truly, as the Bible said, test the spirit about those two, because they have been put on this pedestal. They are being worshipped because in their mind they pretty much to themselves are gods. We know that Beyonce has the Beyonce Mass service, and JayZ calls himself God. So this is the video that I'm getting into today. I'm going to start off though with a scripture because I do believe in the Most High God. That's who I serve. I'm not afraid. I know the reason behind a lot of the warfare and attacks. So the Lord told me July of 2023 that my next assignment would be dangerous. And of course, I went through some more personal things and attacks in between that time to be prepared for now. Talking about Freemasons, I didn't know was this deep. And yet, I come from a family of them. I didn't find it out till last year. So it's not that we are personally attacking them. It is what the Lord already knows, what he foresees coming in the plan that they have, especially those in the entertainment, music, all over the world. And other dictators, just as Alti and Child said, that he released that video, that 5-hour video 3 years ago. And he said, you will know in a little while. Exactly. Because I've had dreams about what he's saying. We'll know in a little while, and it's coming to pass. So I'm going to start this, and I'm sorry, let me say that scripture. I want to say is 1 John 4:1 to test the spirit, because there have been many false prophets that have gone out into the world, and we're seeing that now. So I do confess and proclaim that Jesus is Lord. He did come in the flesh. He did walk this earth. He did die. He was crucified on that cross, and he rose again. The Father rose him on the third day, and he does sit at the right hand of his Father. He sits high, he looks low. And during this time on the earth, this short time, it's getting shorter and shorter by the day with so much going on, that he will come when we're least expected. So certain messages that I've been given, I don't have everything. I'm relaying what I've been given. And many scribes, messengers, prophets, or what have you are doing the same thing. Those that are truly hearing from the Lord. So I've been through that with death threats. Yes, I have. But I'm still here. So glory to the Most High God. So you get on with this message, and I hope you listen to the entire message, because it is important. At the end of this message, though, there is something that I have to say. Very, very important for JayZ, and it is a warning, and it is a dire warning. So thank you for listening. So I just wanted to come back, and because we know in part, we prophesy in part, but I just wanted to come back and add that piece because it was an important part. And the thing is, too, we cannot idolize these people. It says that in the Bible. We don't know them. We know of them. We know what we see. We don't know what they do in their private life. We don't know what they do to have to sustain this type of lifestyle they live in, and who they're under, because they are under someone or organization, whether you believe it or not. When I had my old account, I did 6 videos on Michael Jackson. I didn't know it was going to be that detailed because people idolized him so bad, to the point the Lord says that a lot of people betrayed me for Michael Jackson. Everything that he did, he was a Satanist. He was into witchcraft. What else? Of course, he was a Freemason, a whole lot of other things. And yes, in fact, he did touch children. That is a fact. So anyway, I just wanted to add that part too. So if you are idolizing them or still listening to them as a born-again believer, check your playlist. A lot of them are. It's time to check your playlist. But yeah, I wanted to come in and add that part because it was important. And I have another word I have to do about them, but it'll take much longer than the 10 minutes here, so I'll probably only post bits and pieces. All right.
This comes from the eye in the triangle. Here's Chris Angel doing it, standing also next to a mate with a square and compass shirt on. Not a coincidence. This is not something JayZ invented. This is the religion JayZ belongs to, and proudly, as you're about to see.
And it's crazy. It's crazy how, you know what I'm saying, like they pull it off on you like that. And like with JayZ, I have so much respect for Jay. But it's like now, as I'm becoming aware and I'm awakening to what's going on. Like I said, me coming out the young culture or whatever, it's sad, man. Like, it's really sad. Like, how can you deceive so many masses of people when everybody listens to Jay?
He is doing the bidding of his masters.
And he's doing a great job, though. That's why they're rewarding him with basketball teams. And that's why Jay, for real, y'all got to understand, Jay is the most powerful man in hip-hop right now. Not Puff Daddy, not 50 Cent, JayZ. Well, he does the bidding of his masters well. That's what I'm saying.
I beg to differ with that. The most powerful men in hip-hop, we don't see.
Oh, yeah.
They don't have mics.
Right.
They ain't got to go on stage and clown and, you know, buck dance. They don't.
Well, you could say he's the most powerful face that they're using. Like, he's the ultimate to where...
Exactly.
I read some of your letters, man, because, you know, a lot of them hit the internet, man. One of the things you were talking about a lot while you were in prison was a lot of the conspiracy theory stuff, Illuminati stuff. Do you still believe that?
Yeah. It's real.
Talk to me about, because I remember, can we bring this up real quick? It's just it's from your letter. I'm going to read it. It says, the exact moment in time when I discovered that the entire planet was being lied to and was put upon a spell to keep us unaware of it was back in 1996, around the time Biggie got locked up for the tech in his house. And then there was something else here that I thought was interesting. You said, JayZ knows the truth, but he chose sides with evil in order to be accepted in the corporate. JayZ conceals the truth from the black community and promotes the lifestyle of the beast instead.
It's a level of success where it's a door. It's a door. When you platinum and you getting 50,000 a show, I've been there. There's a door that you can walk in. I'm not sure if it's homo or if it's Illuminati. I just didn't take that though.
And ladies and gentlemen, this is Adolf Hitler, a Freemason, clearly giving the grip of a master mason. And here he sits next to his military leader, Hermann Göring, who is also displaying his allegiance to Freemasonry with a hidden hand. He even displays the Masonic triangle, just like fellow Masonic brother JayZ.
On your left is Prodigy with the cap on. He is one half of the group Mobb Deep. And to the right, he was the interviewer. His name is Dr. Mark Lamont Hill. So he was reading a letter that Prodigy wrote. Back in 2008, Prodigy was in prison. Or jail, whatever. I don't know how much time he was serving at the time, but he wrote a letter about things that he said JayZ knows about. That interview the part that I played, he only read a small portion of the letter. So I went online to find it, and this says his title, is numbered page 3, but I don't know how many pages it is talking about this part. But since I went online and found it, I'm just going to read this one page. Okay, I'm starting at page 1. Tuesday at 1 a.m. in my cell at Mid-State Correction. Titled My First Moment of Clarity. The exact moment in time when I discovered that the entire planet was being lied to and was put under a spell to keep us unaware of it was back in 1996, around the time Biggie got locked up for the Tech 9 in his house. Biggie was in the newspaper that day with handcuffs on, being led by 2 or 3 cops. He had on a sweater with a big letter B on the front. It was that day that I was reading one of Dr. Malachi Z. York's book. Can't remember which one. I believe it was titled Leviathan 666. I finished the book and started crying. I was crying for all of humanity, but mostly for my black people, because I then realized it is all a sham. The government, religions, politics, the Federal Reserve, IRS, and everything that we believe and live by is a joke. Let me go to page 2. Page 2. This one book didn't make me see it all. No, it was the combination of other things I've read, studied, seen, and experienced. Quote unquote, Leviathan 666 just helped connect all of the dots to make me see it's all real. Dr. York has since been set up by the FBI and Illuminati players and is now serving 135 years in a federal prison. His own son, Jacob York, who was deep into the rap business back in '96, orchestrated the entire setup. Africa Bambaataa and Prodigy are the only two famous rappers who speak for Dr. York and know he's innocent. JayZ and JayZ were both raised in their teenage years in Dr. York's Nuwaubian community in Bushwick, Brooklyn. Look at the JayZ's quote-unquote originators video, and you will see them holding up Dr. York's pictures, wearing his garb and flashing his symbols. So there are a few pictures I discovered of this Dr. Malachi York, who is serving 135 years in prison, and he is a Freemason as well. This guy by the name of Dr. Malachi York, this is an article I found. Bill Osinski discusses his book titled Ungodly. While society turned a blind eye for more than 3 decades, Dwight York, also known as Dr. Malachi Z. York, and Imam Isa, developed into a sexual predator of unprecedented proportions. He became the target of what prosecutors believe was the largest child molestation prosecution in United States history. When he was finally indicted, state prosecutors reduced the number of counts listed from well beyond 1,000 to slightly more than 200 because they feared no jury would believe that magnitude of York's evil. He was arrested in May 2002, convicted in 2004, and sentenced to 135 years in prison. So this is a picture of Dwight D. York, or Malachi Z. York. Has a long line of adjectives behind his name, but what he is most known for is being the creator and leader of the Black power group United Nubian Nation of Moors, or Nubians. Some have referred to the group as a cult due to its religious teachings, but it was also called a Black empowerment organization. York began his ministry in the late 1960s. In 1967, he was preaching to the Ansura Allah, African Americans, in Brooklyn, New York, in the midst of the Black Power movement. His teachings were based on pseudo-Islamic themes and Judaism, which is Nubian Islamic Hebrews. Later, he developed a focus centered around ancient Egypt, combining ideas drawn from Black nationalism, cryptozoological, and UFO religions, and popular conspiracy theories. Now, if you're probably wondering, what does he have to do with JayZ? Well, Prodigy mentioned JayZ in the letter. He also mentioned this Dr. York, saying that he was set up and JayZ knows the truth. But I guess JayZ chose to be silent and not say anything, and whatever went on, I don't know. That's another story. That's not a part of my assignment, but he's serving 135 years in prison.
So like I said, it'll be 7 years. At the age of 42, he was in the hospital being treated for sickle cell. Well, he had sickle cell anemia. And I'm assuming he was in there for a crisis. Some people with sickle cell anemia, they may go through, or sickle cell disease, they may go through a crisis where they're sick and in a lot of pain because the red blood cells are sickling and doing all kinds of things. But that's not what he died from, according to a report. He died after choking on an egg. Let me say it again. Prodigy died in the hospital, not from his disease. He died from choking on an egg. What a horrible way to die. I'm assuming Prodigy was more than likely in the room by himself. And this is not misinformation. This is my theory. A person, and I'm not saying that somebody targeted him. I'm not saying that. But when we're talking about spiritual wickedness in high places, if they want something to happen to you, they don't have to touch you. They don't have to touch you. That's all I'm going to say. I just heard that the other day from a young man saying they usually do things when you are alone. Again, I'm not saying anybody did anything to Prodigy. I am saying how odd that he died choking on an egg while eating in the hospital, getting treated for something unrelated. That's all I'm saying on that. Pieces are starting to connect. I know you may, if you're listening, may think that it's not, but it actually is. And I had not originally planned on going with all of this, but it ties in all together by the end of this video, so it will make sense. Now, this article was written on July 20th, 2021, and I'm just skipping down a little bit. Now, the guy that interviewed Prodigy, I told you his name was Dr. Mark Lamont Hill. According to this article, in 2004, York was convicted of child molestation and violations of the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act. York is serving a 135-year sentence at the U.S. Penitentiary Administrative Maximum Facility in Florence, Colorado. There were numerous reports that York had molested several children of his followers. But let me go down a little bit more. Veteran journalist Dr. Mark Lamont Hill, the host of BET News, recently revealed that not only was he affiliated with the Nuwaubians, but that he witnessed inappropriate behavior by York. As a teenager, Hill was a trusted member of the group, often chauffeuring guests and members to the Nuwaubian compound. Hill also ran one of the group's several bookstores and taught younger members of the organization's uniquely crafted language. He ultimately left the group, he said, when he had suspicions of wrongdoing by York. I had seen, quote unquote, I had seen things with my own eyes, Hill said, during an interview with Black News 102, published July 8th on YouTube. When I found out, I wasn't a little bit shocked. Hill said he was on the Nuwaubian compound at the club called Ramesses. I remember walking into the club. There were two kids sitting on York's lap. The kids, Hill said, were young boys. He said he turned around and left the club. Hill also revealed that other young members confided in him about inappropriate behavior by York. Quote unquote, imagine me being 17 or 18 and you got the 12-year-old, 13 or 14-year-olds telling me I'm scared to go into York's house, or telling me I saw what he did to my sister, etc., etc., etc. Hill said he didn't know how to make sense of it, so he left the group. The revelation of York's actions caused him, quote unquote, an emotional, philosophical, and spiritual crisis, Hill added. Wow. Now, this part, let me get into this truth behind this music. Now, there was a rapper by the name of, she went by Emil. Her real name is Emil. Her last name is Whitehead. Now, this is a picture of her and JayZ. They did probably, I'm sure, more than one song together. Now, this is from left to right. That's Memphis Bleak. That's Emil, JayZ, and Benny Siegel. Now, I seen some lyrics. Well, let me go back. I seen some lyrics, but there was an article that said she never got closure following her exit from Rockefeller. So it's like, what happened? Now, this article is from December 4th, 2019. So that's been over 4 years ago. So basically it was saying JayZ was celebrating his 50th birthday and he made his entire discography available on Spotify. And Emil's 2000 debut, All Money Is Legal, had the support of her label and a lead single, I Got That, featuring Beyonce, then at the top of the world with Destiny's Child. But these pop-ups go down. And in a 2014 interview with Vibe, the rapper, whose legal name is Emil Whitehead, confessed that her head and heart weren't truly in it when it came to maneuvering within the industry. I was, quote unquote, I wasn't there mentally. I was in my own world, the rapper stated. Was I prepared? No. Did I realize what was happening right before my eyes? No. It goes on to say, I started to rebel. I rebelled against the industry because it's not what I wanted. I hated traveling. I wasn't at after parties or the club. Also, at the time, my son's asthma, who was 5 or 6 years old at the time, was getting worse and no one was there for him. I had to be there for him. I didn't even know she had a son, honestly. Okay. She went on to say she wasn't, quote unquote, a businesswoman at that time. I didn't have a manager or the things that most artists have. I didn't put my all into it. I didn't give it 100% of myself. I felt like it just wasn't for me. That's when I started rebelling. I started rebelling because I wanted out. It was easier for me to slip away. I faded myself. No one faded me. And that's when everything seemed to go left. I'm just trying to skip down a little bit because somewhere it was saying that she basically never got closure from JayZ. Like, I guess he never reached out to her to say, hey, what's going on? I guess that was a song said Jay rapped about dropping his former protege from Rockefeller in 2001's The Ruler's Back, where he spit, and you got a couple of beans and you don't have a clue. Your situation is bleak. I'm going to keep it real because effing with me, you got to drop a meal because if you going to cop something, you got to cop for real. Wow. She says, I tried to reach out to Jay several times. He never got back at me. Emil said in 2018, adding that even while she doesn't understand his sneak dissing, she holds no ill will towards the billionaire. Emil's last single, Remember, was released in 2014. Now, Emil released a album, CD. This had to have been the year 2000. But I'm looking at the lyrics. This song was called Quarrels. Now, the lyrics were just posted on another blog, but it didn't have the title of the song, so I had to go and search for it. And this is a song featuring Carl Thomas. Carl Thomas used to be signed to Bad Boy. I don't know if he's has an active contract or who he's with right now. So I'm going to read these lyrics and you can pretty much figure out who she's talking about, even though there's no name. Yo, ever since I known you, you've been out to get me, acting like my peeps, but I know that's how you tricked me. Love to see me get high, love to see me tipsy. Heard you even want to stick a little chip in me. You've been trying to play me closer ever since my shine. Want to take me to dinner, feed me shrimp and swine. You said, Emil, I want you to meet a good friend of mine. His name is Money, and we are partners till the end of time. Introduce me to your clique, hate, envy, lust, and greed. Said you want the whole world in your custody. And if I give you my soul, you'll give me luxuries. Said you could hit me up with power. It's just up to me. I turn you on when I'm in short skirts and tight jeans. You want my kids to write Santa and celebrate Halloween. Told me to sell my people crack and get rich off fiends. You love the number 6, but hate the number 13. We have some quarrels, some disappointments, and a whole lot of problems, and you will accept me. You want to be the one to pick me up when I fall. Told me to hang Caesar Borgias on my living room wall. It was always something about you that made my skin crawl. Wow. You turned me into a player and showed me how to ball. You give me rewards when I rob and steal. You want me to abort my babies and get on the pill. You put burners in the hood so each other we kill. I see your eye watching me on the dollar bills. When I got the scoop on you, it just made me mad. 'Cause I moved out of your crib, packed all my bags. Them days I turned to you was the days you laughed. You used to smile every time I pledge allegiance to the flag. We speak now and then, but we ain't smacking hands. You be up in the clubs asking me for a dance, still trying to convince me to go cheat on my man, begging me to please just give you one more chance. We'll have some quarrels, some disappointments, and a whole lot of problems, and you will accept me. When we was kids, you were the one who taught me how to lie, said I could always use you as my lullaby, and you kept me from knowledge, wisdom, and the Most High. Had me believe God had blonde hair and blue eyes. Our relationship went sour since I found the truth. You know you can't have me, so you F with you, my youth. Oh. You got all my phones tapped. I got to talk at booths. I learned an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. You built Sodom and Gomorrah for us all to live in. He thinks he's a God for real. Wow. When we was cool, you used to tell me all your visions, like how you would rule the nations under one religion. You got this new world order. It's like a big prison. You said you want to be worshiped from noon to noon. Nothing's going to get better is what we all assume, because nights is getting shorter and it's snowing in June. I see you working overtime because you out of here soon. And the rest is, wow. The reason why I'm showing you this, because I'm going to play a video, but I just want you to pay attention to this. It was released September 11, 2001. 9/11, Twin Towers. We remember that, right? Of course, in America. There were other albums released that day, but since I'm just talking about JayZ, I'm just keeping it about related to him. But I'm going to play a short video that a brother made, oh goodness, probably at least 5 years ago, just connecting all these dots. So let me just read a few of the songs that were released. The Blueprint is the 6th studio album by American rapper JayZ, released on September 11, 2001 through Rockefeller Records and Def Jam Recordings. Its release was set a week earlier than initially planned in order to combat bootlegging. This is compliments of Wikipedia. A few of the songs that I want to point out that are on this album titled The Ruler's Back. That was the first one. Number 2, The Takeover. And track number 12, Renegade. Let me play that portion of that video I was referring to.
When a magician waves his hand and says, this is where the magic is happening, the real trick is happening somewhere else. Misdirection, a basic concept of magic.
Call it magic. Call it truth. Call it magic. When I'm with you, and I just got broken into two. Still I call it magic when I'm next to you. And I don't. No, I don't, it's true. I don't, no, I don't, no, I don't, no, I don't want anybody else but you. I don't, no, I don't, no, I don't, no, I don't. No, I don't, it's true. I don't, no, I don't, no, I don't, no, I don't want anybody else but you.
In 1998, Prince was performing in the Netherlands, and his song, he was saying his song, I got to get back home to America because Osama getting ready to bomb. How would you know that?
We got one more, and we gonna get out. I got
gotta go home, y'all. I gotta go back to America. I gotta go get ready for the bomb. Osama bin Laden getting ready to bomb. Osama bin Laden getting ready to bomb. Osama bin Laden getting ready to bomb. Yeah, Osama bin Laden getting ready to bomb. Say what? Say what? Holla! Larry, you want something?
Release albums. That's wicked. That's pure evil. So now on to this part of the video. I want to get into these alleged children that JayZ had before he hooked up and got married to Beyonce. Now there is a model, a Trinidadian model by the name of Chanel Scott. Now I remember when this story came out. This is from BackstageOL.com. This is dated September 15, 2011. Does JayZ have a secret son? Star Magazine is reporting that rapper JayZ has a 9-year-old son with Trinidadian model Chanel Scott. Gerald Andrews says his son, Malik Saeed, thought he was the father of Chanel Scott's son until proven wrong through DNA testing. It's been determined that the child is JayZ's, says Andrews. Chanel told me that JayZ gave her $1 million to keep her mouth shut. We know this is hearsay. Chanel took the money and bought herself a really nice house in Trinidad that the whole family lives in now. Now, mind you, this article is 13 years old. My understanding is that he's paying her child support. She says he's a good father and has a lot of interest in the boy. It was a big mess at one time, but I think once they resolve the issue of fatherhood. These reports are coming only weeks after Beyonce announced her pregnancy at the MTV VMAs. Again, this is from 2011. Okay, now let me get on to the next female. Now, I was going to a website and this came up from, I know, formerly known as Twitter, X. This tweet is from Keith Sweat. When you see that blue check, that means it has been verified that that is who it is, since it's a public figure. Finally, Ramir Satterthwaite, alleged son of JayZ, gets a court date. Let me read that again. This is a tweet from Keith Sweat. Finally, exclamation point. Ramir Satterthwaite, I hope I'm saying the last name right, alleged son of JayZ, gets a court date. That's a side-by-side they've been doing. But let me tell you the story about the mother. Now, according to dailymail.com, this is also an affidavit of the mother that alleged that JayZ is the father of her child. Now, the young man is 30 or 31 right now. So she says Shawn, who's JayZ's real name is Shawn Corey Carter. Shawn and I did have protected sex, but the protection broke. Woman who claims she had an illegitimate son with rapper JayZ lays bare very intimate details about their alleged fling in signed affidavit. Okay, what date is this? Okay, this is from a year ago. This says May 12, 2023. Just a few notes. Ramir Satterthwaite, 30, has been seeking a paternity test for 10 years to try and prove his claim that JayZ, 53, is his biological father. Prior to his death, Ramir's mom, Wanda, gave specific details about the night she believes to have gotten pregnant from the rapper in a court-stamped affidavit. JayZ's attorney denies the claim in a letter to dailymail.com. my opinion, and this doesn't take rocket science, you don't have to have a law degree for this. If I were a man and somebody came forth and says, I believe that my son or daughter, you are the father, we had relations. To my knowledge now, I don't ever recall hearing JayZ ever say anything. This says his lawyers. That means his lawyers are speaking for him. So I guess when the allegation came about, he let his lawyers know. They sent a letter, did whatever they did. So you purposely did not take a DNA test on purpose. You're saying, basically, I mean, I can only say he's probably saying, I don't know this woman. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm assuming, right? Let me go further in this. I want to read the affidavit. So she passed away in 2019. They said she insisted until the day she died that JayZ, whose real name is Shawn Corey Carter, is the father of her son, Rodmere, now 30. I want to get down to the affidavit part. In the document, which is dated February 25th, 2015, Rodmere's ailing mother claimed that she and JayZ met through a mutual friend. Okay, here it is. I, Wanda Satterthwaite, write these allegations about my relationship with Shawn C. Carter. I met Shawn Corey Carter in fall 1992, and he identifies himself as, quote unquote, Roc. You know what that reminds me of? Rockefeller Records. He identifies himself as Roc through my friend Kalisha Allen, who is eyewitness. Mr. Carter and a friend came to Philadelphia to pick up both me and Kalisha around the area of 24th and Bolton Street in Philadelphia. I went by the name of Carmel or Precious. Kalisha rode in the front of the car with Shawn's friend, while Wanda, aka Carmel/Precious, rode in the back with Shawn, naming herself. The driver drove what looked like an Eldorado car, which was gold/yellow. We were taken back to Shawn's aunt's apartment in the Brooklyn Projects in New York. The building had elevator with gates and mirrors inside. I am unsure of the floor, but the apartment had 2 bedrooms, and the bedrooms were off to your left once you entered the apartment. After talking, drinking, and dancing, my girlfriend went off to the room with Shawn's friend, and I went with Shawn. You know, back in the day, you used to be able to say girlfriend just referring to a female as that's my friend. Now it's, means something different. Shawn was wearing a black Woolrich hood jacket with a hat, and his hair was a small afro. But once they left his aunt's place, he put on a black leather jacket. Shawn and I did have protected sex, but the protection broke. Shawn and his friend returned 2 weeks later to see us girls again, but they only found me, Wanda, since Kalisha was having problems at home. Shawn asked me to leave with him, but I told him I could not because my mother would be upset. I never saw him again until year later. I don't know if she meant 1 year or years later on television, but still had no idea of his real name until later and did not know how to reach him. She signed it February 25th, 2015. It's been over 9 years ago. Now, in 1992, this young lady was in high school. I wasn't looking for this, but it just came up. This is from 2015. Hold on a second. Caught on camera, JayZ seen in an old photo with Wanda Satterthwaite, mother of alleged love child. I'm trying to blow it up because we know how these old 90s pictures can be. I can't tell if that's... Let me do my detective work. It looks like JayZ. I can't tell about the woman, but that's JayZ. Okay, now I'm down to the part. This is what I was looking for. At the time of her alleged encounter with the rapper, Wanda says that JayZ went by the street named quote-unquote Roc, a precursor to his billion-dollar company, Roc Nation. JayZ did not know her as Wanda, she claims, stating in an affidavit that she went by the aliases Carmel and Precious. In 1992, when she says her meeting with JayZ took place, Wanda was 16 years old and in high school. JayZ was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, and he at the time was 22 years old. Wanda further claimed that the only person who knew about the alleged encounter was her friend, Kalisha Allen, who signed the affidavit as an eyewitness. Affidavit of Wanda Satterthwaite and Shawn Carter's relationship. The document, which was signed by a notary public in the state of New Jersey on February 25th, 2015. If, in fact, he did sleep with this young girl, if, in fact, he did and is, well, let me go back. If he slept with her, I'm just saying, if he did, if this woman was telling the truth that is no longer here, was 16 years old at the time, meaning she was underage. Number two, she was living in Philadelphia. They came to Philly, and then they took them to New York. You have crossed state lines. If in fact he did do it. And if in fact he did, you had sex with a minor. And if in fact he did, if this young man is his child and has not taken a paternity test yet. So he already has things stacked up against him. If in fact he did, slept with the minor, that statutory rape, had a baby, and you brought her across state lines. You have yet to take a paternity test. That sounds very suspect. You don't need a rocket science to figure that out. That's very suspect. And this is this would have been baby number one, actually, I'm assuming. Yeah. Number one. Number two is the boy in Trinidad. Now on to the next female. This is Foxy Brown, pictured with JayZ. Foxy Brown was also a rapper signed to the label. And there was a rumor, a statement going around saying that, or she alleged supposedly that JayZ broke her virginity, that they met when she was 16 or whatever. But she retracted that statement, and also in some deleted tweets or Instagram posts that have been deleted. So who really knows? But there is a video that I'm going to attach from TikTok.
This was this article posted by TMZ where they claim Foxy Brown stated JayZ hooked up with her when she was 14 and he was 24. She claims that he was her first time, and according to this TMZ article, she even claimed JayZ was into transitioned women. Over the years, many people have actually said JayZ was in a relationship with Foxy Brown back then, one being Nick Cannon, who during an interview with Dame Dash pressed him on the situation. Nick Cannon straight up brings up the fact that when he met Foxy Brown, she was 16 and was introduced to him as Jay's girl. This question made Dame Dash visibly uncomfortable.
At what age was Foxy Brown signed?
I wasn't paying attention to Foxy Brown.
But that's...
I didn't sign Foxy Brown.
I'm just asking a question.
I'm on the block. I'm responsible for everything.
You the boss.
That. Yo, don't beat around the bush. Say what you want.
I'm just asking.
What do you mean by that question?
I'm just asking.
What do you insinuate?
I'm not insinuating. I just asked a question.
I
thought Foxy was like 16. That's all I'm saying.
It sounds like you.
All I'm saying is in this industry, we live in these glass houses.
It seems like you got a question for Jay. Ask him. Y'all keep asking me questions. I want to ask him because he ain't here. Ask him. I ain't got to do with that, and I don't even know nothing about that. You playing.
You my man.
I know not with me. When you say that Foxy was 16 when she got signed, why did you say that just now?
When I first was introduced to who Foxy was, I thought there was something between Foxy and Jay.
Kathy White's life was taken unfairly. She actually died screaming. And the Carters are responsible. But one of them is just a little more responsible than the other. Question is, did Shawn Carter delete his mistress, his pregnant mistress, because his wife was jealous? Or could it be possible that maybe his wife's temper is just a little worse than most people think? And maybe he just had to clean it up to protect the brand, see? I mean, I'm just speculating.
Kathy Coriana White. I found this one particularly interesting because it was all shades of messy. Around 2010 and 2011, rumors of Kathy being in a relationship with JayZ were spreading like wildfire. Rumors only got stronger when she was spotted at a party with JayZ and Diddy at a club. The club party seemed to confirm that the rumors of the affair, and listen, the tabloids went off. It was the worst because this happened only a couple of days after Beyonce announced that she was pregnant with Blue Ivy. JayZ was dragged for filth for cheating on Beyonce again, and numerous tabloids tried to get in touch with Kathy to hear her side of the story. But to everybody's surprise, she passed away less than 24 hours after the pictures hit the internet. Even more suspicious, her social media pages also disappeared after she passed, sparking rumors that she was unalive. People were quick to point fingers at JayZ for allegedly putting a hit on her. Even though nothing was ever proven against him, it all remains an unfounded rumor and mystery still.
Just days before the poor woman died, Beyonce announced her surprise pregnancy, and the headlines about Kathy's death quickly got pushed to the side and forgotten. And for what seemed like an eternity, anyone trying to dig up information on this particular topic would hit a dead end. And for some reason, the internet stayed completely silent on Kathy White and her suspicious death for years. But so, lo and behold, the silence on Kathy White was broken when journalist Liz Crokin decided to drop a bombshell on X earlier this month, claiming she had a conversation with Kathy shortly before her untimely death and warning JayZ that his karma may be just around the corner, but that these alleged crimes, which, according to her, include the following. JayZ stabbed record producer Lance Rivera in 1999. His nightclub 4040 was reported to have bounced checks. JayZ admits he was a former dealer. JayZ admitted he shot his brother when he was 12 years old. He reportedly punched a young female fan backstage at a concert in 1999. In 2001, he was arrested for illegal possession. And then there's Kathy White.
And of course JayZ. You see he has the cross on. Mocking. Several articles said they didn't start dating or didn't meet and start dating until she was 19. So at that time, I believe she still may have been with Destiny's Child. I don't think they broke up until like maybe 2005 or 6. If you're looking at this picture, she looks very, very young. Like, she looks like a teenager. There was another video, I wasn't able to go back and find it, that said that Matthew Knowles, her father, introduced them when she was still a child, kid, maybe teenager. It looks like it in this picture. Now the other picture, I didn't pull it back up, I found was with him taking the pictures with the original Destiny's Child member, and it was from 1998. So she would have been 17 then, going on 18. I'm just saying, she looks awfully young, and compared to the other women, the young woman that died that has the oldest son is 30, Wanda Satterthwaite, and another one will be Foxy Brown. So again, he's about 28, 29 in this picture because he's 12 years older than her. And now, he also dated baby girl who was born Aaliyah, Dana Halton. And I'm going to play it's about a 16-minute video. This was from a young woman who was in the industry, entertainment industry. Now, she might not have necessarily been on stage and in the camera. I think she was a soloist. I think she played the harp as well. I'm not sure. But when I was looking for some information, I came across her channel on YouTube, and she is a born-again believer. So she when she was doing videos, she did it from a biblical standpoint. I discovered that I don't believe she's made any videos in the past couple of years. And she did mention another video that she was ill, and she had been, when she was staying in a shelter, she was poisoned. So, yeah, we really can't take life for granted. So I pray that, you know, I don't know her personally, but I pray everything is well with her. And she had quite a lot. She had a lot of videos and a lot of insights. So you're not going to find too many people that actually would come out and speak against those things, because it is, they don't want their secrets exposed. But we're trying to say, hey, wake up. They're doing these things in the dark, and the Lord God will bring it to light, because, you know, we're at the end. It's not going to keep going on like this. Eventually the new order will come about, but before then there will be some people that will have to come down because of what they have done. So, and also in this video, it's education too, because a lot of things are targeted, brought to the youth.
Now, I just want to say something to those of you who are my Christian subscribers and followers and people who check in to look at the videos. I have been told that my videos are gearing away from the word. You know, I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember the exact comment. But I need to tell you that even celebrity stories, the ones that I tell, have a godly message, whether it be good or bad. Every story has a divine message. It is up to you to find the message within. I do quote scripture and I do keep it clean. However, many of these stories are not clean. And if I'm going to be a true messenger, then I have to speak the truth. Which brings me to the story of Aaliyah. Aaliyah Dana Horton was a beautiful child, and as such, her parents introduced her to the world of show business early. Early on, she modeled, and she took a knack to it. They also found out that she was able to sing, and so her beauty combined with her ability to sing made her a natural for the industry. Now, her parents were already connected to the industry. The mother, as I understand, was a background singer, and her uncle, Aaliyah's uncle, was married to Gladys Knight of Gladys Knight and the Pips, and he was a record label owner, and he was also a manager. Now, one of the interesting things about MK Ultra training is that it is usually more effective if one or two members or more members of the family are already in the entertainment business. Reason being is that, having been in the industry myself, you're groomed. You're groomed for this. This is why they have A&R departments, which are...
And let me show you what I was talking about, and then everything she said is important. It really is. I'm not trying to... I know somebody will be like, oh, this is a long video, but it's important. This is educating ourselves. This young woman is no longer here. She don't get a chance to come back and do anything. So this is also to help ourselves, our youth, and the children that are coming behind us. We got to say, hey, listen. She was brought into it as a kid. So she was doing what she was hired to do, what her parents told her to do, and whoever else told her to do. She was influenced at a young age. How many of these young kids are dying? You got XXX Tenacion, Juice World. What's the other rapper's name? Some of them may have been just small town rappers well known in their area. I think Young Dolph. So many of them come into this game. So many of them come into this game looking for money, looking for a way out. Yet she was brought up in it. There's another example. They said Alicia Keys was on the Cosby Show. It looked like a little boy from the picture. You couldn't really tell. You know, she has long hair. Another one. She was groomed as a kid. Yes, she's a classical pianist. Can play the piano beautifully. But she was trained. Let me pull out my pen. I was trying to get my daughter into entertainment when she was about 5 or 6 years old. Believe me, they were thirsty and they were ready. Even though it was going to be a small role, it was going to start out modeling. Now, if you look at, I'm just giving another example. JoJo Siwa, remember she was doing the hair bows? Look at her now. She came out with looking like, is his name Gene Simmons, Gene Collins, one of them from Kiss, with her whole face painted in black. Yes, the little girl that used to be with the commercials with the hair bows. Total change. So you got all these fans and all these young girls that were following her. Now everything has just changed. It's different. But she was trained and programmed as a child. That's the Masonic hand grip. So if I got some Freemasons listening, or former Freemasons, or anybody that has studied this, because it's something I had to study. Well, I don't know everything about it, but I know enough. That's a Masonic hand grip.
Groom the artist for the business. Aaliyah was a student in the dance program at a Detroit high school, but prior to that, she went through the Roman Catholic school system. And I can tell you that many entertainers, Madonna, Diddy, even Biggie, went through that Roman Catholic school system regimen. And it is a type of monarch training, MK Ultra training, in that they have strict adherence to their rules. And in my age, they even used to beat you if you didn't follow the rules. Now, as Aaliyah became more developed in her singing career, she was introduced to R. Kelly. The idea was that he was supposed to be some type of Svengali over her and be able to groom her even further for the business. But the truth behind that is that he was a handler. And this is where her sex kitten program was first installed and activated. Aaliyah was groomed from an early age. She met R. Kelly when she was 14. And you know, something interesting that I find in most of the pictures of her with R. Kelly, she looks very unhappy. She does not look like a carefree, happy teenage girl. However, R. Kelly did indeed do his job as a handler. In fact, the record, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, is a whole tribute to pedophilia. And, you know, people don't know this because they only go by what they can see and they can hear and what the media tells them. But when he was 27, he married Aaliyah using a falsified marriage certificate listing her as being 18, when in fact she was only 15. And he knew that. That's why he had it falsified. So if age is nothing but a number, why did he find the need to falsify her marriage certificate?
I want to add something to that. Now you're looking at, even though it says certificate of marriage, and remember they tried to say it wasn't true. Aaliyah even denied it. Well, she was programmed, and my probably might have been in fear. Who knows? This young woman that's narrating, her name is Rebecca Scott. When she was in there, she said they used to beat her. Now, this document, because I was born and raised in Chicago, in Cook County, this is an official document. Now, I have a very old birth certificate, the old format, but you know, from time to time, formats change and I update it. So the most recent birth certificate that I got looks like this, except birth certificate, mother's, father's name, date of birth, and whatever other dates, and it's signed David Orr. So that's an official document. That document is real, but he lied about her age. You know, they're able to get access to things because of the money and all of this.
This further established him in his handler capabilities, because now he was married to her and he could pretty much do with her as he wished. And again, here you can see she looks miserable. And
I noticed she has on, in the other video they had on matching hoodies, and in this one she has on the Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse is a part of Demole, like Walt Disney. And if you have not heard, they said he was working with the CIA and has an MK Ultra programming and all of that. There have been some victims that spoke out about it.
There were quite a few other women in entertainment who also married their handlers. I can tell you that Tommy Mottola, when he married Mariah, he was her handler. JayZ. JayZ was initially going to be her handler. JayZ has been a handler for many women. And Rihanna being at the top of the list, and also Beyonce. Here she is sandwiched between two handlers, Diddy and JayZ. And what happened is that when he could not conform her to the program, she drifted away. She drifted into the hands of Dash. And you can find on the net and other places many pictures of her hugged up with Jay, because she was looking for love and romance, and she didn't find it with him. She found control. And the other thing too that I know for a fact was that in the early days of the Rockefeller, the women were passed around like party favors. And for those of you who want more detail about this, go to my video Beyonce and JayZ, and it talks about Aaliyah's connection even further in terms of her dealings with The Rock. So Damon took over as handler, but he fell in love and he couldn't do it. He couldn't complete his task. And I believe that this was part of the contribution to his downfall with Rockefeller. Aaliyah had many friends in the business who were also men. Genuine was one of them. And I don't believe they had a intimate relationship. I believe they were just friends. Also the same with Pac. They were actually good friends, but even a lot of people missed the connection that they had. And this is not her with Pac, but this is her with Kadada. This was the connection that she had, that she and Pac shared. Proverbs 12:26 says, "The righteous person is cautious in his friendship, but the way of the wicked leads them astray." Now, Kadada is the daughter of Quincy Jones, who is a major handler in Hollywood. And he's also been said to be a closet homosexual. In fact, Tupac has said in interviews that when he went to Quincy's home to visit Kadada, Quincy, tried to come at him instead of Kadada. And that's when he left. Now here's Kadada with Aaliyah, and they established a friendship very early in the game. So I would not doubt if Kadada was then the newly appointed handler for Aaliyah. And again, now here is Aaliyah with Pac. Now again, the fact that Aaliyah was friends with Pac and Pac later wound up dating Kadada, it is also very likely that Kadada was his handler as well. And what happens a lot of times is that the handlers and the subject will have a relationship, and one of them will fall in love, but it's usually the subject. This is part of what happened with Tiger Woods. His handlers have all been white, blonde women, and this is why he cannot break out of that box. Now here's Aaliyah at a party with Kadada, Drew Barrymore, Rosario Dawson, and Nicole Richie, all major players in Hollywood, Kadada by versus of her daddy, but the rest of them are major players in Hollywood. So, you know, the MK Ultra victims are usually only allowed to associate with other MK Ultra victims, either victims or handlers. And here is Aaliyah with Beyonce. They were friends way before Beyonce got with Jay. And again, I refer you to my video, Beyonce and JayZ, in my Hip Hop 101 series, and I get deep into how Beyonce was actually the chosen replacement for Aaliyah. Now, here
I'm on to Rihanna. She is another artist that JayZ signed, and she met him at 16, I believe, 16 or 17. This is from Planet Radio in the UK. Rihanna's epic career timeline from iconic music to Fenty. She has her own lingerie line plus cosmetics. I think that picture farthest to the left when she was first coming out. She was born February 20th, 1988. Robin Rihanna Fenty was just 16 years old when she began her journey to superstardom. And she just had baby number 2 recently. I am going down to... Okay. In 2005, Rihanna was discovered by American record producer Evan Rogers in her home country of Barbados. The 16-year-old, well, she was 16, demo was sent then to Def Jam Recordings, where it was played to the company's new CEO, JayZ. JayZ invited Rihanna, and it was actually Rihanna, to audition, and Riri left the audition with a 6-album record deal, easy as that. Well. You know, her looks have changed over time. You know, they started grooming these girls and prepping them and getting them ready. And we know it starts, as you say, good girl gone bad. Everything is starting to be super sexualized. I am going to play a very short clip speaking of the whole thing with the mistress and Beyonce announcing her first pregnancy. If you remember that she was in Australia doing an interview at the time when she was allegedly pregnant with Blue Ivy, and when she sat down, how her stomach did. Now, if you're listening, you're a woman, you've been pregnant before, you already know, especially once you start showing, you know, you just don't sit down like that. Even if you forget or just naturally try to sit down, you'll be like, oh, your stomach is going to remind you, your body is going to react, your brain is going to send a signal, oh, you can't sit like that. So let me play this short clip.
The pop out of her dress there, you know, starting to pop out. Boom, she just... Oh, man, totally busted. So freeze it there. You can see the foam is getting all bunched up and sticking out like that. And pregnant women don't bend over like that. And if it was a real belly, it wouldn't get all squished up like that, you know. She would have just killed the baby. Women would sit down, keeping their back straight and kind of easing their butt down first. They're not going to bend over like they're tying their shoelaces. And this was like 6 years ago, and everybody was talking about it back then. Everybody busted her for having a fake pregnant belly.
Now, I want to bring your attention to this called melasma. pregnancy, which is like, they call it the mask of pregnancy as well, especially for a woman of color, because your neck may turn darker. And most of the time, it clears up after pregnancy. It's like nothing to, freak out about. It's just your baby, your body is going through all these changes, basically. Now, we know once she went into the hospital to allegedly give birth to Blue Ivy, how the whole unit was shut down. All right. Now I'm going to go to that picture, because her face does not look like she has been pregnant. So that's her in the after birth. Everything is perfect. Does her face look like the face of a woman that was pregnant? Don't look like it to me. This portion of this video that I'm getting into is the business aspect of it. How did JayZ become a millionaire? But I'm going to take you back, not too far back. So JayZ and Dame Dash, pretty much, they used to sell drugs together. That's what Dame Dash said in an interview. He said, yes, we used to sell drugs together. At one point in time, no, I know I've heard JayZ before say he used to just be rapping on the street in between him selling drugs while he was hustling. And he also said that he didn't have to write his rhymes. He would just be on the street rapping. So Rockefeller Records was first started by Dame Dash and JayZ in 1995. This is according to history.hiphop. The first album released on Rockefeller was JayZ's Reasonable Doubt in 96 and became an instant hit. In 2008, JayZ started his own record label called Roc Nation. Just talks about how Rockefeller was responsible for launching the careers of course, JayZ was the first one, Memphis Bleek, Benny Siegel, and Kanye West. In 97, JayZ and his co-founders sold half of Rockefeller to Def Jam for a reported $1.5 million. 7 years later, in 2004, Def Jam bought the other half of Rockefeller for $10 million. In 2005, JayZ was named CEO of Def Jam in a deal that allowed him to continue to run Rockefeller. And it says JayZ filed a lawsuit against his former business partner, alleging Dash attempted to sell parts of it, a Reasonable Doubt album as an NFT. Of course, we know, if you don't know, their relationship is, I guess they pretty much don't have one. Dame Dash has said that, like, he just ousted them, like, he didn't give him an explanation of closure on anything. Sounds similar to Emile when she said he didn't call her or say anything. It was she said, felt like a diss track or after that, but never told her anything. So this goes on to say the paperwork for the auction also provided the copyright split for the album, which eventually divided between Dash, J. Rockefeller, and the other founder, Mr. Burke, what they call Biggs. Basically going back and forth, legal team said Dash didn't have a right to do that. So eventually Dame Dash and JayZ settled their feud over Dash's alleged attempt. And under agreement, Dash can sell 1/3 stake in Rockefeller Records, but cannot in any way dispose of any property interest in Reasonable Doubt. Now, once upon a time there was, let me say this, Rockaware was founded by JayZ and Dame Dash. But there is a reason why that split even came into play as well. So let me play that clip.
I saw Rockaware, my interest in it.
Correct.
Because number one, and it was no disrespect, but I never liked the collar shirt thing with the baseball. You'll never catch me with a collar shirt and a baseball hat and cufflinks. And what happened was, Jay made a move on me where, I always ran the board because I always had Jay's vote. So it was me and Jay versus everybody. But we had a meeting in a hotel, Yeah. And Jay was like them for that one. And I was like, wow. They did it in a hotel, so I couldn't bug out in a room, like a hotel room. So if it was a public place, I would have made a scene. Because I was flipping. You know, I was like, yo, how you? And he just was real ice cold about it. So at that point, I didn't have control no more. And
now, according to Wikipedia, and there was some other websites said the same thing, in March 2007, JayZ sold his rights to the Rockefeller brand to Iconics brand group for $204 million. Woo. JayZ retained his stake in the company and continued to oversee the marketing, licensing, and product development. But then, according to this other article, this from 2019, the Iconics brand group ended up filing a lawsuit against JayZ. So JayZ's Roc Nation gets Iconics lawsuit dismissed for $15 million. That's a lot of money. So after years of fighting, hip-hop mogul JayZ has settled an ongoing lawsuit between his Roc Nation apparel business and licensing company, Iconics brand group. The rapper brought back some intellectual property assets from Iconics for $15 million as part of the settlement, which resolves 2 lawsuits and an arbitrary proceeding. The article says something about, some licensing on some, I think it said baseball caps. Yeah, Roc Nation Apparel partnered with New Era to release a new line of Major League Baseball caps bearing the Roc Nation logo. And Iconics stated this fell within the scope of the party's original licensing deal. I did see something about some other stuff. Well, Mr. Carter has done well for himself. Roc Nation is a full-service management, music, publishing, and entertainment company founded by JayZ, and this is from their Twitter account, Roc Nation. So Tidal, which is the music streaming company. This is the champagne. I believe it's Armadi Brignac. I think it's Ace of Spades. I see the Ace card. I don't know if he still owns Brooklyn Nets, and I believe the 40/40 Club might be closed. The Savage X Fenty is actually Rihanna's brand, but she is under Roc Nation. Of course, Rockefeller Records is no longer here. And he's done pretty well for himself. He has some, I believe, some type of investments in Uber technology. So he has a great portfolio. He's done well for himself to become a billionaire. Of course, a lot of these rappers will, how can I say this, interject what they believe in into their rap. Some of them, you won't even know it. You honestly won't know what they're saying. JayZ is one of them because he does have a tendency to rap faster. So I'm sure a lot of people may have been familiar when this song came out, called Empire State of Mind, featuring Alicia Keys. And this has been a quote that many are aware of in the lyrics. Hail Mary to the city, you're a virgin. Well, we know he's from New York. You calling New York a virgin? Okay. And Jesus can't save you. Life starts when the church ends. It's a very bold statement. Jesus can't save you. This right here is the sign of philosophers. You see the pyramid shapes? Yes, it is 5 pictures on here to show you. These are black and white photos, so they are old. And JayZ said he invented the diamond, the whole thing. I remember him saying that years ago. There's nothing new under the sun. This is proof right here. Now this is MC Light from This is from 1996. You can see her with the pyramid or diamond, however you choose to describe it, over one eye. And then the number 7 on her album, again with one eye. So this is nothing new. Nothing new under the sun.
JayZ, H to the Izzo, V to the Izzy, Jehovah God. That's what he calls himself. He believes that he is God, and he believes that Jesus Christ is not the Son of God. He believes that the black man is God. His clothing line is called Rockaware. Those are his clothes. You can't go into I have a hard time shopping for clothes now, Brother Dwayne. I just get depressed almost. I go into Burlington or something, man, and I don't have Herman Murray money, so I can't be, I can't wear gaiters every day. So, I go to the regular department store, and every section is hip-hop clothing. Rockaware. Shawn John. But this is JayZ, and he had an album called The Black Album, and of course these guys release songs, underground, and they do this kind of stuff, and we just happen to come across a very disturbing song by Brother JayZ. It's a song that he actually recorded and has a backwards message in it, and we had to reverse the song and play the song backwards to get this message for you. Y'all remember back when the heavy metal folks used to do that? And they would put the backwards messages in their music, and they'd say that your subconscious was smart enough, that right brain was smart enough to decode and flip that message, so by the time it got to the left side of your brain, you understood it, and you didn't even know you understood it. You just acted it out. Because they had the song called Another One Bites the Dust, Queen. Played it backwards, it said, I like to smoke marijuana. Yeah, and then they interview kids, and kids say when they listen to it, they just want to get high. They just want to smoke weed, and they had no idea that that message was being reversed in their minds and causing them to want to do that. Isn't that weird? God made us smart. Look at somebody and say, you smart? So I don't care what they say about you. This brother has a very disturbing message in this song. I'm gonna let y'all hear it. Can I let y'all hear it? Y'all listen.
666. Murder, murder, Jesus. 666.
666, murder, murder, Jesus. This made you feel kind of funny, didn't it? It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
I want to show you something that I just saw. You see this where it says the video I was trying to record, I couldn't play back because due to copyright. Look at that. When I stopped recording, 1313. Wow, that's the number of rebellion. Let me move on to what I wanted to show you. In the on the Black album, right before I played that last clip, I noticed something. Not sure if everyone else sees it. Behind JayZ, does that not look like something? I'm gonna outline it. Does it look like somebody's wearing a mask? These look like the eyes. What in the world is that? Do we not see this? Good God Almighty.
Jay and Beans, yeah. Yo, all that's eventually. All I gotta tell y'all is I told y'all in 2002, y'all ain't believe me. I told y'all that was a crab, but y'all ain't believe me. You know what I'm saying? How many accounts gotta come up? Dane, Biggs, R. Kelly, Kiss, Beans. I mean, the list go on. That is a crab. There ain't no hate involved, but you know, you gonna see. He's still biting my step. JayZ's the best. Secret Society with JayZ, man. He's involved with this, man. He involved.
Last clip was from JayZ, he grew up, him and JayZ grew up together, used to rap together. They were under Dr. Malachi York. That's the teacher from the Nuwabians cult or religion. The man that's serving a 135-year prison sentence. Now, JayZ just said, JayZ is down with this crab, whatever, play stuff. Now, he said, I told y'all in 2002, blah, blah, this. Told you about the secret societies with JayZ. Now he's taking back what he said. The person that put this video together says, JayZ being made to take back what he said. But he said it out of his own mouth about JayZ. So, maybe he was threatened, or I don't know. Another thing said that, article, JayZ had to move in with JayZ, him and his wife at some point. When they were shopping for record deals and couldn't get one, I guess JayZ wasn't signed, but I guess he used to produce. Anyway, long story short, he's taking back exactly what he said.
Statement. As far as JayZ, I never said he was a homosexual.
This next part of this video, I am talking about the religion JayZ is into. This is Aleister Crowley. This is an old picture of him. Some younger ones too. But he was nicknamed himself the Greatest Beast. He signed his name as Baphomet. He was a 33-degree Freemason. He believed in do what thou wilt. So JayZ wore a sweater. I'm not sure how long ago this picture was of JayZ at the left upper hand corner. Do what thou wilt. Basically, Aleister Crowley believed do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. He was a Satanist. He was a Mason. That's John Lennon. He also believed in it. And if you don't know, Anton LaVey in the picture next to JayZ. This was a collage someone already had put together. But I just want to show you this is what he believes in. So when Prodigy wrote that letter saying he chose to side with the beast, he wasn't lying. This shows. So I have a video that I want to play. Because it's just so much of it. I can only do a small amount of it. I could probably do, this video could probably be 8 hours. Probably easily 5 hours. But I have to lay the foundation to show what we are talking about, what we are hearing in this music, how much of this music is being pushed on the youth. It is being pushed on them heavily because there is an agenda. We, if you are listening to this and are a born-again believer, should at least know the basics of these occult people, their symbols and what they stand for. All of the things that I've already said about JayZ with these kids, the babies, the women, all of this stuff. This is what you believe in. This is what you believe in. This is what you follow. You said Jesus can't save you. Life begins when the church ends. So if you believe in that, what else do you believe in? Now this is Marina Abramovic. She also follows his teaching. She is a celebrity witch practitioner. Yes, that's what I said. A celebrity. She's been pictured with JayZ, Beyonce, Usher, Lady Gaga, and others. She does events, has parties, foundations, and all of this stuff. Also, that's another one. they done a video together where it was called Spirit Cooking. JayZ is high-level witchcraft, period. So this is Michael Jackson, of course, as a kid. He also followed Aleister Crowley's teaching. That's him with one eye covered and the V sign over the other eye, representing doing what he's told to do. He probably couldn't have been no more than 10. That's him again, too, with nail polish. And that's him playing with the lighter. I don't know why. It makes me think, when he used to have that white tape on his fingers, what else was he doing? Because there's something else I've seen, another reason behind that white tape. And this was the book written by Aleister Crowley, 777, and other Kabbalistic writings of Aleister Crowley. That is Michael Jackson with that 777. That's what that represented. I'm just doing a brief summary of Michael Jackson. I will have to do all the videos I did because I don't have them anymore, just to show you what many of these entertainers do, what they already know. Because we hear it on the radio, in the workplace, in the grocery store, wherever we are of our everyday life. So we're hearing what comes through the radio. Of course, we may be in environments where we can't control it, but when we listen to or grow up listening to it, that was a whole church that did a whole dedication when he passed, not even knowing what he was into. I didn't learn everything to this year. Other people already knew he was into sex magic. He was into sex magic. And we know about the situation with the allegations of child molestation. Now, this CD album cover called Blood on the Dance Floor. You see the floors, checkerboard meaning Freemason or Masonic or Masonry, same thing. Now, the way his hands position, I'm going to show you in the next slide. But you see where the red things are circled, that's from 9/11. Like I said, JayZ released an album on 9/11. Prince was talking about, I got to get back to America. Osama getting ready to bomb. We know 9/11 happened. They knew. We're talking about the Brotherhood, Freemasons in the entertainment industry. They knew. Now I took a screenshot of what somebody already put together. You see the clock that somebody put there. His hands was pointing at the 9 and the 11 for 9/11. The next voice you will hear is this man that's no longer with us. Did a lot of teachings. Milton William Cooper, or as Bill Cooper. He told us about 9/11. He was killed 2 months later. He had a lot of experience with naval intelligence and all those things. But he is going to be reading from Aleister Crowley's teaching. It's just because there's a lot of things about him, but I'm just giving the basics so that you that are listening will be able to understand this. It's deep and it's evil and it's dark. But to be able to understand that there are some people that follow this. So that's the next voice you'll hear.
Aleister Crowley opposed religion. He opposed Judaism. He opposed, most of all, Christianity with a hatred that was frightening. And he said, and I quote, "To me, every dirty act was simply a sacrament of sin, a passionately religious protest against Christianity, which was for me the symbol of all vileness, meanness, treachery, falsehood, and oppression," end quote. One of the most alarming things about Crowley's life was the way that he went from Freemasonry into the occult of the OTO, the Ordo Templi Orientis. Crowley tells, in his own words, how Freemason Theodore Ruus recruited him into the OTO. Quote, "Although I was admitted to the 33rd and last degree of Freemasonry so long ago as 1900, It was not until the summer of 1912 that my suspicion was confirmed. I speak of my belief that behind the frivolities and convivialities of our greatest institution lay in truth a secret, ineffable, and miraculous potent to control the forces of nature, and not only to make men brethren, but to make them divine. But at the time I speak of a man, Theodore Rus, came to me, a man of those mysterious masters of esoteric Freemasonry who are alike its eyes and its brains, and who exist in its midst unknown, often even to its acknowledged chiefs. This man had been watching my occult career for some years and deemed me now worthy to partake in the greater mysteries. Kenneth Grant, Aleister Crowley and the Hidden God, New York, New York, Samuel Weiser, 1974, page 174. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this certainly shows that members of other occult orders can work within Freemasonry and do, even though there are admitted to the public only 33 degrees. In my research, I have found degrees into the 90s behind what's called the veil in the Mithraic rite, and other degrees that go out laterally in other rites of the lodge. There are degrees within the Templar degree. There are degrees and degrees within degrees, and circles within circles, and secrets within secrets. The OTO was founded in 1895 by the Austrian Freemason Karl Kellner. Freemason Theodore Rus became its leader after Kellner's death. Rus started a magazine called the Oriflamme in 1902 with the help of Freemason Franz Hartmann. A 1912 Jubilee edition of the magazine revealed information about what the OTO activities really were. Quote, "Our order possesses the key which opens up all Masonic and Hermetic secrets, namely, the teaching of sexual magic, and this teaching explains, without exception, all the secrets of nature and the symbolism of Freemasonry and all systems of religion," end quote. In 1912, while holding the rank of 33rd degree Mason, Aleister Crowley became the head of the British OTO. The teachings and the practices of the OTO were amazingly disgusting. Here's a very brief description of their degrees. Listen carefully. Quote, "Today's literature about sex magic relies heavily on practices which were already common in the OTO, or in its later development by Aleister Crowley. The division is as follows. 8th degree OTO is autoerotic practice. 9th degree OTO is heteroerotic practice. The 11th degree OTO is homoerotic practice. This is the traditional sex magic practice as performed under Crowley. Frater, U period, D period, Secrets of the German Sex Magicians, St. Paul, Minnesota, Llewellyn Publications, 1991, page 138. Also, 33rd degree Aleister Crowley proudly called his cult of the OTO true Freemasonry. He said, "I claim for my system that it satisfies all possible requirements of true Freemasonry. It offers a rational basis for universal brotherhood and for universal religion," end quote. Now, how close is this connection between Freemasonry and the OTO? Well, Masonic historian, Francis King, reveals a closer connection than most Freemasons would ever dare to admit, and I am sure that they are cringing right now, knowing that I am going to reveal it. Here's what Masonic historian Francis King says. Quote, For the OTO not only had, as we shall see, connections with spurious and clandestine Masonic groups, but functioned as a recruiting office for one of these, for in the classification of members by degrees appended to Ruis's document is clearly stated that, quote, candidates are made Freemasons by the directing members, fratres superiores of the OTO, end quote. Francis King, The Secret Rituals of the OTO, New York, New York, Samuel Weiser, 1973, page 13. The fact that Crowley was the head of the OTO while holding the rank of 33rd degree Freemason should forever explode the myth that Freemasonry is a Christian organization. Crowley spoke openly and candidly about his Masonic honors. Quote, this view was confirmed when the arcane schools of John Yarker came to me for review. I wrote to the author, who recognized my title to the 33rd degree and conferred on me the grades of 95 degree Memphis and the 90 degree Mizraim. It seemed as if I had somehow turned a tap. From this time on, I lived in a perfect shower of diplomas, from Bucharest to Salt Lake City. I possess more exalted titles than I have ever been able to count. I am supposed to know more secret signs, tokens, passwords, grand words, grips, and so on than I could actually learn in a dozen lives. An elephant would break down under the insignia I am entitled to wear. End quote. You will find that in John Simons and Kenneth Grant, The Confessions of Aleister Crowley, New York, New York, Bantam Books, 1971, on page 684. You see, folks, they cannot wiggle out from under ye accuse. In their own words, ye accuse. In the Confessions of Aleister Crowley, Crowley spoke with great admiration about the Royal Ark degree. Quote, I supposed myself to have reached the summit of success when I restored the secret word of the Royal Ark. In this case, tradition had preserved the word almost intact, end quote. It is perfectly understandable that this hatred of Christianity, or this hater of Christianity, would love the Royal Ark degree of Freemasonry. You see, in this degree, Freemasons blaspheme the God of the Bible by uniting God's name with pagan gods. It would drive an Orthodox Jew right up the wall. The secret word of the Royal Ark that Crowley is referring to is Yah-Bulan. The Yah represents Jehovah, Bul represents the pagan god Baal, and On represents the Egyptian god of the sun. So it's no wonder Crowley's satanic heart jumped for joy when he was able to blaspheme the God of the Bible by uniting the true God of the Bible with the pagan god Baal, to whom human children were sacrificed. The Bible tells us, quote, they have also built the high places of Baal to burn their sons with fire for burnt offerings to Baal, which I did not command or speak, nor did it come into my mind, end quote. The meaning, ladies and gentlemen, of the secret word in the Royal Ark degree is confirmed by an excellent authority. Can't get any better than this. It's the Encyclopedia of Freemasonry by Albert G. Mackey. Baal signifies Lord or Master and occurs several times in the Bible as a part of the names of various gods. Alone, the word applies to the sun god, the supreme male deity of the Syro-Phoenician nations. For an account of his worship, read 1 Kings chapter 18. With Yah and On, it has been introduced into the Royal Ark system as a representative of the Tetragrammaton. Tetragrammaton. The OTO describes itself as an organization that is dedicated to follow the doctrine of Crowley. The Ordo Templi Orientis, or OTO, is an initiate body our initiatic body, I should say, composed of men and women who have accepted the principles of the Book of the Law, which was transmitted, he claims, through Aleister Crowley by some spirit master. Quote, "The book is conceived to be a perfect transmission of the divine, freed from any defects of human interference. As such, it is a luminous vehicle of truth that can serve as an infallible guide to human conduct. Aleister Crowley will at least be remembered as the greatest occult genius of the 20th century. His influence on modern occultism is incalculable, penetrating every Western school." Hymenius, editor, Aleister Crowley, the Master Therion, The Equinox Publishing Company, 1990, Volume 3, number 10:87. Any organization, ladies and gentlemen, that follows the teachings of Crowley must be taken very seriously. Listen to me. You have a habit of dismissing these things as not being important and not worthy of the study of intelligent, reasonable men and women. You're wrong. The following quotes are from the Book of the Law that the OTO endorsed as a perfect transmission of the divine and luminous vehicle of truth that can serve as an infallible guide to human conduct. Quote, "Worship with me with fire and blood. Worship me with swords and with spears. Let the women be girt with a sword before me. Let blood flow to my name. Trample down the heathen. Be upon them, O warrior. I will give you petrovanal of their flesh to eat. Sacrifice cattle, little and big, after a child. The best blood is of the moon monthly. Then the fresh blood of a child are dropping from the host of heaven, then of enemies, then of priests, are of the worshippers. Last of some beast, no matter what. With my hawk's head I peck at the eyes of Jesus as he hangs upon the cross. There is no law beyond do what thou wilt." The Equinox, Volume 3, number 10:39, pages 40, 42, and 43. The following quotes from Crowley's Magic in Theory and Practice will further prove what should be our concern. Quote, "For the highest spiritual working, one must accordingly choose that victim which contains the greatest and purest force. A male child of perfect innocence and high intelligence is the most satisfactory and suitable victim. But the bloody sacrifice, though more dangerous, is more efficacious, and for nearly all purposes, human sacrifice is the best. In the sacrifice during invocation, however, it may be said without fear of contradiction that the death of the victim should coincide with the supreme invocation." Aleister Crowley, Magic in Theory and Practice, New York, New York, Magical Child Publishing, Incorporated, 1990, pages 95 and 96. Notice the name of the publishing company, Magical Child, spelled M-A-G-I-C-K-A-L and C-H-I-L-D-E.
I'm going to read a few of Aleister Crowley quotes. "There is no grace. There is no guilt. This is the law. Do what thou wilt." Those magicians who object to the use of blood have endeavored to replace it with incense. But the bloody sacrifice, though more dangerous, is more efficacious. And for nearly all purposes, human sacrifice is the best. It is necessary that we stop once for all this ignorant meddling with other people's business. Each individual must be left free to follow his own path. That is quite a statement. Magic is real. In reality, it is magical. And finally, if one were to take the Bible seriously, one would go mad. But to take the Bible seriously, one must be already mad. Again, it's the Christianity. It's against Jesus Christ, Yeshua, HaMashiach, however you choose to use his name. It's not, they don't do this about Buddha, Muhammad, none of those. Only Christianity, because we have a Bible, because the Bible does say the wages of sin is death. But for them that follow these teachings, for what this man wrote, there is no sin. Basically, mind your own business. Do whatever you want to do. She's been seen in a lot of places, but this is just a quick video of what she does.
But works from a so-called performance artist. An artist who also rubs shoulders with some of the most celebrated and influential figures in our society. Everyone from famous actors and musicians to DC power brokers and international financiers. Her name is Marina Abramovic, and her work has been featured everywhere from the Metropolitan Museum of Art to a Microsoft commercial. But who is she, and why does she possess such enigmatic appeal to the world's elite?
I am obsessed with this woman. She is so incredible.
It's time we investigate who really is Marina Abramovic. Marina Abramovic. They call her an artist, but what she does is shocking. Cutting herself, burning herself, and other such extreme and grotesque acts. Abramovic was born in the Serbian capital of Belgrade in 1946. Hers was a harsh childhood. Her mother, a Communist Party official and military veteran, was cold and oppressive.
I was so incredibly unhappy as a child. We never sit together as a family, we never talk together, we never had any kind of Christmas, New Year together. It was always very unpleasant and very tense situation. So there's something wrong with me. She was always thinking that I'm doing something wrong here, and she absolutely hated it. So this total control of my mother, total obsessional discipline which I had opposed of me, I had to have my own space. I have to kind of let it free.
Abramovic began her artistic career in the 70s while living in Serbia. She gained fame in the art world by performing extreme acts of endurance and pain, billing it as performance art.
But you might say that pain is Marina Abramovic's medium, and her message, deal with it. Back in 1973, she rhythmically jabbed the spaces between her fingers, at times drawing blood.
She almost died in 1974 when she laid inside a burning star, losing consciousness due to smoke inhalation. In another famous performance, she stood motionless for 6 hours while attendees were encouraged to freely interact with her in any way they please, using a variety of 72 items provided.
I was standing there in the middle of the space with this table with all
read some of these comments. And of course, this was posted 10 years ago. JayZ went from street wise gangster to the occult. WTF. They do magic rituals in public and the sheep praise them. What in the last days did I just watch? Literally dancing with the devil. That's some type of sick ritual, and fools just standing around gawking and cheering. So creepy. I get a really evil demonic vibe from this. Listen to your soul, guys. This is bigger than just a dance. Absolutely correct. Now, of course, you know who these two are, but the picture on the wall that they're standing in front of is the woman that the video I just played, Marina Abramovic. Wake up, church. Wake up, people. They are not going to verbally tell you this is what they do. This is what they are into. This woman is a witch. Witchcraft, that's what she's doing. Now, if you're thinking that a man can be a witch, those are just terms. We've been told that when we were kids, witches ride on broomsticks and this and that. That could be furthest from the truth. That is not true. They actually call it the craft, or they may call it Wicca, but one of the common terms is the craft. So you don't have to be just a woman to be into that.
Legitimate word used in witchcraft. Here it is in the 100-year-old Encyclopedia of Freemasonry. Why would the word abracadabra be in the Encyclopedia of Freemasonry, the fraternity that runs charities, hospitals, nursing homes, and that secretly supply us with popes, presidents, prime ministers, kings and queens, and the bulk of our entertainers? Why? You know, I really think it's time to show you what the Satanists dressed as Freemasons are going to do to you and the world to finally establish their new world, their utopia. And this is going to be the segue into that. This is my last practical example of Freemasonry's satanic roots. And then I'll close this presentation with the most shocking thing you'll see or hear. You probably won't care, but to the precious few who remain, I will send you off with the greatest and most beautiful shock of all. This is JayZ inside his Masonic Lodge. You can see the Masons in aprons in front of him. This is where JayZ takes his sick oaths of silence, kneels down in front of other men, and calls them Most Worshipful Master, an appalling title to give to a man on this planet. JayZ the Freemason writes songs like this. This one's called Lucifer. And in Empire State of Mind he writes, Jesus can't save you. Life starts when the church ends. Oh, but he can save you, JayZ. He can even wake you up just before you collide into a concrete wall doing 120 kilometers an hour. I should know. This is fellow member of the craft Alicia Keys, who sings on the track. Here she is, showing her allegiance and wearing the broken and bloody cross of Jesus Christ. The occult peace sign, pure hatred for Jesus. There is peace when your conscience has been killed, seared to sin, and you can indulge to anything. A false and temporary kind of peace, no doubt. Here's a shot of JayZ's clothing line, purely Masonic, the craft. Well, this is the craft he's referring to. This is him with well-known witch, Marina Abramovic, also showing her sign of allegiance to Freemasonry. Now here we go. Here's JayZ wearing a most revealing top and the dead giveaway that you need to see behind the curtain of Freemasonry. Do what thou wilt. Do whatever you want. That's the adopted motto of the most notorious Satanist of the 20th century, 33rd degree Freemason, Aleister Crowley.
Well, you know, in learning all this in preparation as I'm finishing this up, because there's still much more to present, but I didn't want to make it so long. In regards to Mr. Shawn Corey JayZ Carter, it is about, even though there were other names mentioned in this presentation, I do have to end this part with a summary, also with a warning, without being in fear, because yet this is dangerous to talk about. And a part of me is saying, why so dangerous? Why things that are secret that we're not supposed to know about, that they don't want us to know? And then still going back to that letter this young man wrote. We've known about JayZ for a number of years. Even if you don't listen to rap music, if you are a born again believer, trust me, you need to know this. This isn't always about color. We are in this world, but we are not of this world. There's a lot of hidden secrets. As he said, he chose to live the lifestyle of the beast. And saying all of that, JayZ is a liar. JayZ is a master mason. He's a master of his craft. It's on his clothing. It's in his music. If you take your time and look, it is all there. When the Lord gave me his name, I had no idea all of this was in this music and stuff. We'll go to these concerts, we'll buy these CDs, stream music, download, all of that. He is one of the most influential people in the music business as it is related to hip hop and rap, because that is one of the most dominating, one of the most popular genres right now. And it has been that way for some years. He is a master of his craft. You have amassed worth $1 billion by stepping on people. Yes, he has stepped on a lot of people in this game, and it is dirty. The whole thing with Roc Nation, he had Rockaware. They formed Rockefeller Records together. The Lord says that JayZ stepped on Dame Dash like an ant. Cheated him out of all this money. And I don't know, neither one of them never had a conversation with him. I've seen the interviews that Damon Dash has done. The Lord says he stepped on this man, squished him like an ant. This was his friend that they used to sell drugs back in the day, just so you can be in corporate America, that they don't care about you. As Altian Child said in this presentation, some things are still hidden. But the more you move up, when you belong to them, you belong to them. If you're celebrating, there is no sin, that's only nature. You can rob, steal, and kill and don't care. That's inhumane. So as I'm wrapping this up, I must say this. Dangerous, in fact, yes. So if anything happens to me, it won't be because I killed myself. Number one. It won't be because I was doing something I had no business, or I just died of something. No, it won't be. Because I serve the Most High God, and he has angels around me to cover me. So at the end of this, for me, yes, Shawn JayZ Carter, I'm not scared. Your quote about Jesus can't save you. Life begins when the church ends. Let me tell you something, because you know all what has been written in your books and all of these things, the Freemason books and Dogmas and Morals and Aleister Crowley and all of this. He can save you. He will, if you were to believe in him. First of all, you must believe. Second of all, confess and repent from what you have done, because Satan can't save you. He was cast out of heaven because he tried to overthrow God. God created him. Jesus Christ made Lucifer, or Satan, however you choose to address him. First of all. Now let me say this so I can keep on going and get done with this, because I do have other things I need to present after this video is done. Sir, JayZ, you really going to need to confess with this one. You may not, but I'm going to say it because this is my job and my life is on the line too. But I'm not giving in to fear. For what you have done in the past that people don't know about, as well as with children. Yes, I'm saying that publicly. He has done some things with children too, inappropriately. A whole lot of things, and Beyonce isn't innocent either. As well as for this thing to be made to look like an accident because you were rejected and I guess your manhood was crushed. You, JayZ, Shawn, Corey, Carter, the Lord Jesus Christ knows everything. He knows all things. He knows what happens. You, and to the world, that you may know that I, Naisha, prophet of the living God, servant of the Most High God, as the Lord has said many of times, that JayZ is responsible and in fact did have Aaliyah murdered. Made it to look like an accident. You are a witch. Very well capable. You have a very dark soul, spirit, and heart. And the only way out is the Lord Jesus. He had Aaliyah murdered. Made to look like an accident. So, in fact, JayZ has innocent blood shed on his hands. Not only her death, but the pilot and the other passengers that were with her. So the death of Aaliyah is at the hands of a man by the name of Shawn JayZ Carter. And the Lord God is calling you to repent and confess before it is too late, because this is not hell. Hell is a place of weeping and gnashing of teeth and torment. That's the word of the Lord regarding this. In Jesus' mighty name, because he is coming. Amen.